Okay, let's jump right into this explainer and crack the code on sourcing world-class recovery vehicles out of China today. The global demand for specialized recovery vehicles is seeing this massive geographic shift, pointing straight toward Chinese manufacturing hubs. But for you international fleet managers and heavy equipment distributors trying to find the right partner among a sea of export companies, it's incredibly complex. It is way more than just comparing price tags. So today we're going to navigate the engineering standards, export volumes, and technical support infrastructures of the top players in the market, all to make sure you can make the absolute best procurement decisions for your fleet. Here's our quick roadmap for today. First, the modern Chinese wrecker. 2, 3 pillars of procurement. 3, the Tier 1 giants. 4, value and niche specialists. And finally, number 5, perfecting your export strategy. All right, kicking things off with Section 1, the modern Chinese wrecker, a paradigm shift. We really need to address the elephant in the room when it comes to the country manufacturing these things. So, do you still think of Chinese machinery as just a budget option? Because if you're viewing these special purpose vehicles, or SPVs, as just cheap alternatives, you're missing out on a massive evolution in manufacturing. That whole narrative that Chinese wreckers are just the budget route is completely outdated. Honestly, their dominance in the SPV sector right now is driven by a highly robust, deeply integrated supply chain. We're seeing domestic chassis giants perfectly synchronized with super advanced, globally sourced hydraulic systems. And this perfectly illustrates why this paradigm shift has happened. Modern high-end wrecker models out of China are utilizing absolutely top-tier materials. We are talking high-tensile HG70 steel, premium Italian hydraulic valves, and precision-engineered planetary winches. These specs don't just mimic North American and European engineering standards, they are directly rivaling them. Moving right along to Section 2, 3 pillars of procurement, evaluating exporters. Before you even glance at a price tag, you need a strict technical rubric. Any commercial-level procurement has to be validated against these 3 strict pillars. First up, chassis versatility. Can the exporter actually provide the right-hand drive or specific Euro configurations your local regulations demand? Second, hydraulic duty cycles. Are those pumps and cylinders truly rated for continuous, heavy-duty operation, especially if you're working in extreme temperatures? And third, structural integrity, which basically dictates whether your machine is going to survive out in the field. And touching on that third pillar, structural integrity, this is the exact kind of engineering standard you have to demand to avoid a catastrophic failure. Submerged arc welding is not just some marketing buzzword, it's an absolutely vital manufacturing process for the booms and subframes. It guarantees the long-term fatigue resistance you need when these wreckers are put under immense repetitive stress. If your manufacturer isn't doing this, you're quite literally risking your operator's safety and your entire investment. Okay. Section 3, the Tier 1 giants, heavy-duty dominance. Let's look at the actual roster of manufacturers and break them down into functional tiers. Think of this as your ultimate technical cheat sheet. Look at the stark differences when you step up to a Tier 1 exporter compared to Tier 2 or 3. Tier 1 companies are equipping their wreckers with internationally sourced hydraulics, straight from places like Italy and Germany. They're using high-tensile Q460 or HD70 steel. And, this is a big one, they offer global on-site warranty support with major certifications like CE, DOT, and GCC. As you slide down the tiers, you transition to domestic components and limited parts-only warranties. You really have to align your specific operational needs with the right tier. So, if you're operating in the heavy-duty, highway, or tech-focused towing space, you're going to be looking directly at these 2 state-owned giants, XCMG and SANY. XCMG is just an absolute powerhouse for industrial towing. They integrate crane technology to give you 360-degree continuous rotation and a crazy 50 to 70-ton lifting capacity. SANY, on the other hand, comes at the market focusing heavily on high-end automation, remote operation, telematics, and just exceptional hydraulic precision. Now, conversely, what if you're in a region with underdeveloped road infrastructure? Well, the integrated powertrain reliability of these 2 companies is totally unmatched. Sinotruk, known for their HOWO and Citrac series, gives you incredible torque and massive parts availability across Africa, Southeast Asia, and the Middle East. They are perfect for long-distance towing. Then you've got Shacman motors. They step in when you need military-grade chassis durability and high ground clearance. Honestly, they're the preferred choice for mining regions and super rugged environments for sure. On to Section 4, value and niche specialists, tailoring to your fleet. Look, not every fleet needs a 70-ton rotator to pull a rig out of a ditch. Sometimes for urban recovery, versatility is the name of the game. enter Chengli, or the CLW Group, which is actually the largest private SPV manufacturer in China. Their superpower is sheer production capacity and the massive variety of recovery bodies they can mount on practically any chassis, which makes them a huge favorite for municipal tenders. Then you've got Foton Motor Group, who absolutely dominates the light and medium-duty slidebed space. The coolest thing about Foton is their collaboration with Daimler. That ensures their chassis meet rigorous international safety standards, making them super popular in Oceania and South America.
And hey, if your needs are highly specific, these niche specialists have your back. Zhang is your go-to for advanced R&D in heavy-duty underlifts and customized military off-road recovery. Dongfeng brings highly fuel-efficient medium-duty solutions, legendary for surviving humid, tropical climates. Then there's Changhang. Need a turnkey solution for complex international compliance like ADR and specialized shipping logistics? They bridge that gap perfectly. And finally, CMC Vehicles. Famous for their trailers, they use high-strength alloys to build wrecker bodies hyper-focused on weight reduction, payload optimization, and ultimately saving you money on tire wear and operational costs.
All right, let's wrap things up with Section 5, Perfecting Your Export Strategy, Avoiding Deal Breakers. Execution is everything here. Sourcing complex mechanical systems across borders requires a flawless technical workflow to avoid disastrous mistakes. Ensure you're following this exact 3-step vetting process. Step 1, hydraulic system validation. You've got to request specific brands for multi-way and balance valves. For high-cycle ops, insist on imported seals, like UK-based Hull-Lite seals, so you don't end up with high-pressure oil leaks sidelining your truck. Step 2 is chassis compliance, which we'll dive into in a second. And Step 3, the underlift-to-boom ratio. A massive mistake in international procurement is buying a wrecker where the boom capacity completely outclasses the front axle stability of the chassis. You have to make sure the effective length of the underlift actually matches the specific vehicles you're planning to tow. Okay, circling back to Step 2, chassis compliance. Keep this quote in mind because this right here is where deals fall apart. See, China has successfully moved to the China V emission standard, which is very similar to Euro 6, but a lot of export markets still legally require Euro 2 or 3. If you just happily accept a modern China 6 engine, but your local fuel quality is low, that engine is going to fail. You absolutely must ensure your exporter can source correct, older-style mechanical injection engines tailored to your specific local fuel infrastructure. Let's talk timelines. Burn these numbers into your brain. 30 to 90 days. For standard slidebed models, you're usually looking at a 30 to 45-day lead time. But if you're ordering those heavy-duty rotators or custom-engineered units, plan for 60 to 90 days. That accounts for chassis availability and the time it takes to source those premium imported hydraulic components we talked about earlier. Also, you really need to set your after-sales expectations accurately before you ever sign a contract. If you go with a Tier 1 brand like XCMG or Sony, you'll often have access to local dealerships for support. Outside of those Tier 1 brands, though, expect to handle after-sales via what's called courier service parts. Basically, the manufacturer air freights replacement components to you under warranty, but you are entirely responsible for getting local mechanics to actually install them. As we close out this explainer, I want to leave you with a pretty provocative strategy to think about. Many of these top exporters actually offer CKD, or completely knockdown kits. So instead of importing the whole truck, could importing just the wrecker upper body to mount on a locally sourced chassis be your fleet's ultimate cost-saving move? This strategy might just be the secret to dodging massive import duties, slashing your shipping costs, and securing your fleet's maximum profitability in 2026. Thanks for joining me on this deep dive, and as always, keep learning and stay focused.